Give in hope before you give up your confidence so that you will never hope of getting your confidence back. A very good afternoon to all the dignitaries and the attendees. I feel privileged to extend my warm welcome to all presented here. This is your host, Nazish Khan, and would like to welcome you all with great immense and joy back to yet another session that has been organized by Teams Welfare Foundation. I hope you all are doing amazing. I see quite number of people joining with us. Before I proceed, let me take a brief moment for introduction of my organization. Seams Welfare Foundation is a non-profit entity established to work in the areas of education, social welfare, women empowerment, skill development, entrepreneurship, and livelihood generation, etc. SIMS Group has conducted various international conferences, seminars, workshops, and webinars in emerging technologies in various parts of India and has active network of 3,000 plus engineers, managers, researchers, etc. DIGISAKSHAM is also another initiative of SIMS Group and has also conducted more than 100 webinars, 10 FDPs and workshops and 6 international conferences. As I proceed further, I would like to introduce the topic for today's webinar. That is electrical energy saving opportunities for future generations, which shall be presented by Lavneesh Talwar sir. The electric energy is the energy generated by movement of electrons from one point to another. Today, through this webinar, we came to know the measures to save electric energy for further use. I am profusely ecstatic to have a guest speaker, Mr. Lavneesh Talwar sir, joining us today. He worked as head of department in Department of Electric Engineering at YCET. He has published 29 research papers in national and international journals, having a good impact factor and attended more than 50 international conferences. The world is full of diamond and gems, and we are having one of them here today to build this event. With this note, I would like to give my heartiest welcome to our guest speaker, Lavneesh Talwar sir, with a big round of applause. Before going further, I request all the participants to remain mute throughout the webinar, and if you have any doubt, you can type in the chat box or also you can raise your hand. So without further ado, we will turn the time to you, sir. Sir, over to you.
Thank you so much. First of all, it is audible.
Yes, sir, you're audible.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So, first of all, I would like to thank the SIMS India, the big organization that gave me the opportunity to deliver talk on the energy conservation opportunities for the future generation. So, I first of all thanks Nazish Khan, the co-host of this webinar program. And also, I would like to thank my sincere gratitude and thanks to the SIMS India organization. Under this banner, there are many and many engineers are to be there. We have conducted so many webinars and international conferences like you have already told. So this webinar will be the line two of that also upcoming session that you have conducted. So before presenting today's webinar, first of all, again, I would like to thank all the participating team to be there. And also, I would like,
Sir,
yeah,
sir, sorry to interrupt. There is a lot of echo in your voice.
just, just yeah, ma'am, it's audible now.
Yeah, so it's
Okay,
audible. Yeah.
fine. So, at the point, before starting this webinar, again, I would like to thank all the entire teams of Sense on Leadership Foundation that give me the opportunity to deliver my talk on this burning topic that is an energy conservation opportunities for the future generation. I wholeheartedly welcome all the participants to be there And hope so at the end of this session, you all quite benefited that how you can conserve your energy, especially the electrical energy. That is today's the booming thing that we all to have to save this energy. So not much wasting your time. Let me share my screen and we will start the presentation. Yeah, ma'am, it's visible.
Yes, sir, it's visible.
Okay, fine, fine, fine. So let me the today topic is energy conservation opportunities for the future generation. And as man has already introduced me, so myself, Engineer Lavneesh Talwar, and presently I'm working as head of the department in Yogananda College of Engineering and Technology, Jammu and Kashmir. I had done my MTech in the field of energy management from Sri Mata Vaishno Devi University, and after doing MTech, I had published many papers in the field of energy conservation, and in each and every paper and in every webinar that I delivered the talk, I am focusing towards the opportunities, how we can save the energy for our future generation. The reason being, now the time will come when we have to save the energy for the future generation. If you go back about 5 to 10 years, there is a scenario that the generation of electricity is very, very high, but their consumption of electricity is low. But now the scenario will change, and in the future coming days, this scenario is totally changed, and where the generation rate of energy is low and the consumption rate of energy is very, very high. So it is the high time that we all have to save the energy so that our future generation can get this energy, get benefit of this energy. So in this webinar, I will tell you about that what are the various energy conservation techniques, or you can say that what are the various energy opportunities that we all are adopted so we can conserve the energy. And we also take to pledge that we have to save the energy. The reason being, uh, if we not save this energy and if we consume the energy, the day will come when we have no energy. And in that case, we are totally exhausted our limited sources like conventional sources of energy, and we have to divert now from conventional sources to the non-conventional sources of energy. So, during the briefing about this webinar, here I will discuss with you one thing with you, all the participants will be present there. I'm discussing with you people one case study, and you can see that in this case study that earlier normal conventional sources are adopted, and when we replace the conventional sources with the non-conventional sources of energy, we can save the energy. But there is a problem that when we have to convert your conventional sources of energy to the non-conventional sources of energy, or even we can say that when we have to divert it from your non-energy saving equipment to the energy saving equipment, there is some capital requirement, there is some initial investment is required. But if you have not any constraint according to the initial investment, then we have go for these type of energy sources. But if you have financial constraint to be there, then we have also another measures and also another you can say that things from by which you can save the energy. So before proceeding towards our webinar, first of all, I quote with the one quote of our missile man of our India, Dr. Professor uh, Abdul Kalam ji, and according to him, life and time are the world's best teachers. Life teaches us how to make good use of time, and time teaches us how much the value of life. So with these inspiration words, with these motivational words, I will start today's webinar. So before starting toward this webinar, first of all, as you all know, there are two type of sources to be available. One is called as the conventional sources of energy, and another is called as the non-conventional sources of energy. In earlier days, these conventional sources of energy is also called as non-renewable sources of energy, and the non-conventional sources of energy are also called as the renewable sources of energy. As I had already tell you that if you go 5 years or 10 years back, we are all dependent upon your conventional sources of energy. But now the time will come when we have to divert from conventional sources of energy towards the non-conventional sources of energy. Only simple thing is that we have to save the energy, because if we save the energy, we can give that energy to our future generation. Otherwise, our future generation has no source of energy, no limited source of energy, so that you cannot think to be possible. So this slide is basically representing about the difference between the conventional sources of energy and the non-conventional sources of energy. And you can see that point number one, that the conventional sources of energy are not abundant, present in limited quantity, whereas the non-conventional sources of energy are abundant in nature. Only thing is that we have to get aware the people, we have to get aware the locals, that you have to extract the energy. The conventional sources of energy has been used for a very long time, but the non-conventional sources of energy, the research and development processes will goes on, and we have to extract that energy. So these are the certain points that difference between the conventional sources and the non-conventional energy sources. And I know all of you get be aware from these difference. So I'm not taking these things in a very broader way. So here we have some sources for conventional as well as the non-conventional sources. Like you can see on the left-hand side, we have renewable sources of energy, and these renewable sources of energy are also called as the non-conventional sources of energy. And some examples are, we have solar energy, biomass energy, wind energy, geothermal, hydropower. And on the extreme right-hand side, we have non-renewable sources of energy, which is also called as the conventional sources of energy. And the various examples are fossil fuel, the coal, the nuclear, and the natural gas, which are nowadays get abundant. Here there are certain more examples related to renewable as well as non-renewable sources of energy, like we have wind, geothermal, solar, hydropower, biomass. These all get under the category of non-conventional sources of energy or renewable sources of energy. And on the right side, we have coal, oil, natural gas, and nuclear. These are basically the non-renewable sources of energy or the conventional sources of energy. Now, here the time will come when we have to get this quote that energy is not the idea, it is an execution. Now, we have to execute it so that we can save the energy. So, an attempt has been made in this webinar to reveal the role of energy measures adopted for the conservation of energy in domestic sector in order to conserve the energy. I will try my best. You can give a live, you can say that I will give you the case study. You can get an idea that how we can save the energy. According to the energy managers, there is a important term. You can say that we have energy consumption or demand generally refers to the term energy management, which means saving of energy. This talk is a concise report in the field of energy management in the domestic sector and act as an important tool for the technical persons in providing insight into the field of energy conservation and energy management. So, by adopting simple measures and energy conservation techniques, we can help in saving the wastage of energy and the raw material that we use in our domestic sector. Uh, Before proceeding towards, we have the important law of energy, that energy can neither be created nor be destroyed. Yeah, it can be transferred from one form to the another form. As I am talking about the electrical energy, and you all know about the electrical energy, let us take an example of hydroelectric power station. And you all know, in case of hydroelectric power station, what will happen? The first of all, the potential energy of the stored water is converted into the kinetic energy. After that, this kinetic energy will be converted into the mechanical energy, and when the water will be striking the turbines, this mechanical energy is ultimately converted into the, you can say that, the rotational energy. And after that, this turbines will be coupled with an alternator, and the mechanical energy is ultimately converted into the electrical energy. So according to the basic concept that energy can neither be created nor be destroyed, based upon that thing we can start. So energy,
So,
yeah,
sorry, sir, your slide is not moving.
now it's visible.
Sir, it's visual, but the slides are not moving.
Okay, just a minute, just a minute. There is internet problem here. Just a minute.
Yeah.
Now it is visible here.
Sir, yes, now it's fine.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, we will continue here.
Yeah.
Just a minute. Okay. Uh, as I have already tell you that the energy conservation is the practice of decreasing the quantity of energy used while achieving the similar output at the end of the use. So on a larger scale, energy conservation is an element of energy policy, and it should be seen that 1 unit of electricity saved is equal to 3.4 or 3 to 4 units of electricity generated. Now, here is the one of the most important point that we all must be considered to be there, that the cheap and substandard gadgets that consume more power as compared to the expensive standard gadgets, and it is to be proved costlier on a longer run. Here, one thing that I will tell you all the people that instead of cheap and substandard gadgets, if we use a standard gadgets, and these gadgets, no doubt, initial investment is high, but on a larger scale, on a longer scale, it is seen that it will be proven more, you can say that cheap as compared to your cheap and substandard gadgets. Because in energy management terms, we are focusing towards one important term that is called as the payback period. So here the question comes whenever we have to install certain equipment or certain gadget, that gadget or certain equipment, if we use a cheap or substandard, initial investment is low, but on a longer run, it proves to be a costlier. So your considerations will be given for energy saving, that instead of using a cheap or substandard gadgets, you are using standardized gadgets so that it to be proven cheap for a longer run. And here it is also seen that consideration should be given to the life cycle cost rather than the capital cost while purchasing any gadget. Because it should be kept in mind that electricity saved is basically the money saved. Now, you can see this pie chart here. This pie chart you can see in our Indian domestic sector, the consumption of electrical energy. You can see that most of the time, our 55% of energy consumption is always and always on the appliances that we are used. 24% of electricity consumed on space heating, 12% is on for lighting purpose, whereas 5% is for water heating and 4% for cooking. So our main area of thirst or the main area for the energy conservation is the appliances that we all using to conserve the energy. And here it should be seen that if you use a cheap or substandard gadgets, if you use a cheap or substandard appliances, they are proven to be more costlier in a longer run. So that is the important thing, that you have to choose the correct electrical equipment, the energy efficient equipment, so that you can save the energy. This is the potential of renewable power in India, and from this slide you can see that there is a wide potential of renewable power in India. Only thing is that we have to get the people aware, we had to get the people R&Ds so that we can extract the energy in the form of renewable sources of energy. So in India, there are many states like you have seen the Maharashtra, the Karnataka, the Gujarat, the Andhra Pradesh, where we have the potential. Only thing we have to extract the energy. So energy conservation is an effort to reduce the consumption of energy by using less of energy services. This can be achieved either by using energy more efficiently or by reducing the amount of service used. The various principles involved in energy conservation are optimal control, optimize capacity, optimize load, use efficient processes, reduce losses, energy containment, examine energy conservation opportunities, and energy storage facilities. So in this webinar, I will try to tell you that we have the two-way channel to save our energy. One way, you have to replace your existing sources with energy efficient sources. So when you replace your existing sources with energy efficient sources, the only thing is that you required initial investment. You required some monetary things to be there. If you have initial investment to be there, if you have capital to be there, you are go with that energy conservation opportunities. Here you can convert or you can replace your non-energy efficient devices with energy efficient devices. But if you have a barrier of your monetary, you have a barrier for your initial investment, then you can adopt simple energy conservation measures. And you can see that by adopting simple energy conservation measures, you can also save the energy. So choice is yours. Either you should go to conserve the energy by replacing existing sources with the energy efficient sources, or by simply you can adopt it simple energy measures to conserve the energy. Both the methods have their own pros and cons, but the thing is that only the main thing is initial investment, capital investment. So if you have don't barrier, if you have a don't if you don't think that you have a monetary things to be there, you can go to replace your energy non-energy efficient sources with energy efficient sources. But if you have a barrier related to the initial investment required, then you can adopt the simple energy conservation measures and you can save the energy. Now, here I will discuss with you people one case study that after watching this case study or after revealing this case study, you can see that how much energy we can save. Now, in this case study, what I have done various energy conservation opportunities. First of all, for doing any case study, for doing any energy audit, we have to site inspection to be there. We have to implement it to be there. We have to make the pre-final report to be there. And after that, we can suggest some measures to conserve the energy by replacing your non-energy efficient energy efficient sources. And after that, you can see that there are many much things to be there. We can save the energy. And from there, you can see that first of all, the area for the chosen of energy conservation is basically one grid station, which is installed at our Jammu province. And it is basically a 220 by 132 by 33 kV burn grid station, which is about 25 kilometers away from Jammu. This is the brief introduction about the area where I have done my energy audit. And after the energy audit, I submitted my report to the officials of that grid station, and where I have tell that you have to adopting these simple measures, and by adopting these simple measures, you can save the energy. The grid station has a capacity to supply 320 MVA power to the Jammu province, and it is basically a step-down station where it can receive the power at about 220 kV, and after that, it will be stepped down to 132 kV and further transmitted to the various grid stations. This is the switchyard of that grid station where I have performed the energy audit. And this is the control room where actually I have done the energy audit. Now, in this audit, what I have done, there is a one control room and 12 residential quarters to be there, having 51 incandescent lamps, each having wattage 100 watt. This is the first load. 48 FTLs having 55 wattage, 63 high pressure mercury vapor lamps, and 11 computers having wattage 40 watt. So this is the actual load that is installed in that grid station. And I had performed the energy audit on these four things to be there. That is, I had gone to the energy audit with 51 incandescent lamp, 48 fluorescent tube lamps, 63 high pressure mercury vapor lamps, and 11 computers. And by adopting simple energy measures, we can save the energy. And in the coming slide, you can see that how much energy you can save. So what suggestions I have to be given there, that first of all, you can replace the incandescent lamp with compact fluorescent lamp, that is CFL. I know nowadays there is no CFL to be there. Nowadays we are all using LEDs or LCDs to be there. But this audit I had done before some time, before the COVID time, and there we can use incandescent lamp, because at that time there is not awareness of any energy conservation opportunities to be there. So when I submit my report that you can replace your incandescent lamp with compact fluorescent lamp, you can save the energy. In the same case, what I suggest you can replace your 40 watt T12 FTLs with 15-watt magnetic blast with 36-watt T8 FTLs with 4-watt electronic blast. You can save energy. I can also propose that you can replace your high pressure mercury vapor lamp with high pressure sodium vapor lamp. And also I can propose that you can replace your existing monitors, that is LCD monitors, with LED monitors, and you can save the energy. So when you do these things and you have submitted the report, so it can be seen that the first measure has a very small investment required. And in this case, the payback period is 1 month only. That is, after 1 month, what you have invest, you can get back. Second one has a small initial investment, but again, here the payback period is less than 1 year. That is, whatever you have to spend in your initial investment by replacing your FTLs 36-watt with another FTLs, you are required the initial investment, but here the payback period is less than 1 year. The third one is also required a very high bit of investment, but again the payback period is of 1 year. And lastly, when you replace your LCD monitors with LED monitors, you can see you can save the energy, and the payback period is here about 3 years. So here is the calculation part. I will cover only the one part for the time constraint to be there, and on the same pattern, all the things to be, all the energy conservation measures to be seen, and you can see that we can save the energy. So what I have proposed, there are 51 incandescent lamps that are installed in grid station. So the installed wattage will be, since one lamp has a wattage of 100 watt, so there are 51 lamps. So the total installed wattage will be 5.10 kW. I can propose you can replace your incandescent lamp with CFL lamps, and the number will be reduced to 20. The reason being, the illumination for 51 incandescent lamp is exactly same the illumination for 20 CFLs. So here you can see that you can replace your 100-watt 51 incandescent lamp with 20-watt 51 CFLs. You can wattage will be 1.02 kW, and you can see you can reduce the installation watt about 4.08 kW. And when you see that annual saving for 365 days of operation and 10 hours in a day, and 1 unit of electricity consumed is about 4.4 rupee, you can see that at the end of the day, at the end of the year, the annual bill will becomes about 60,000 rupees. So here the payback period will be 38 days, that is less than 1 year. And you can see from this chart, when that grid station, it can use 51 incandescent lamp, the total energy consumption in that grid station only and only due to incandescent lamp is almost 18,615 kWh. But when you replace this 51 incandescent lamp having wattage 100 watt with 50 CFLs having wattage 20 watt, you can consume the electrical energy, that is 3723, almost 6 times, That means only replacement of incandescent lamp with CFLs, you can save the energy to a very, very great extent. And you can see here, and all the calculation parts are to be there, that how you can get this exact value. So this is the first energy conservation measure where you can save the energy. So from this graph, I think you all must be clear that if that grid station or if that plants is consuming the power by using 51 incandescent lamp, the energy consumption will be about 18,615. But only you can replace this incandescent lamp with CFL, you can save the energy to a very, very great extent. So this is the ECM number 1. In the same case, when you go for the ECM number 2, and in this ECM number 2, you can replace 40-watt T12 FTL having 50-watt magnetic blast with an only 36-watt T8 having 4-watt electronic blast. Same calculation will be done on the earlier portion, and you can see that how much you can save the energy. Earlier, the energy consumption will be about 9636, touching towards 10,000. But when you replace your non-energy efficient devices with energy efficient devices, you can consume about 2628, and it is almost about 5 times. So if you go for ECM number 2 by adopting these things, you can save energy up to 5 times. So when you combine this, you can see that what you have to do, you have to replace your energy efficient devices with non-energy efficient devices, or non-energy efficient devices with energy efficient devices. You can save energy. In the same case, when you go for ECM number 3, and you can see in the ECM number 3 what I have do, I have replaced the high pressure mercury vapor lamp with sodium vapor lamp. The same calculation will be done, and on the last you can see this much amount of power or this much amount of energy we can consume. Earlier, that station can use outdoor lighting by using mercury vapor lamp, and in that case, it consumed almost about 60,000 kWh of energy. But if you have to replace with sodium vapor lamp, you can see that we can consume about 28,743, and it means almost it's a double. So again, here again, I will tell you that by adopting this energy measure, you can save the energy. So you can see that by adopting only these simple energy measures, we can save the energy. And this is the high time that we have to replace your existing sources with energy efficient sources, and we have to save the energy. Because if you not replace your non-energy efficient sources with energy efficient sources, the consumption demand of electric energy is so high that in future generation we don't have energy. The reason being, the generation rate of energy is limited, but the consumption rate of energy is day by day, day by day increasing. In the similar way, if you go for the ECM number 4, and quickly, if I see this much amount of, you can say that energy consumed earlier when we use 11 liquid crystal display, that is LCD display monitors, and if you replace this LCD monitors with LED monitors, you can see that you can save the energy. So this is not any data that I have copied from one or another site from the Google or anything search engine. This is the actual audit I had done in that grid station. And after that, when I submit this report to the officials of that grid station, they welcome that report and they can replace these things and become energy efficient. So on the same platter waveform, we can also save energy to a very greater extent. I had also done various energy audits in various industries where we have to propose that you can replace your non-energy efficient motors with energy efficient motors. You can replace your non-energy efficient pumps with energy efficient pumps, energy efficiency in boilers. So by adopting these simple measures, we can conserve the energy. But again, I am repeating here one thing again, that all this replacement, you required some initial investment. So if you have an initial investment, you can go through this type of energy audit, you can go this type of energy conservation opportunities. But if you have a barrier of initial investment, initial capital investment, then this thing become not possible, or this thing becomes very difficult. So in another word, if you have to save that energy, not replacing your non-energy efficient devices with energy efficient devices, so you have to adopt simple measures. So in the coming slide, I will tell you that how you can also save the energy, not replace your non-existing non-energy efficient sources with energy efficient sources. So after the combining all these ECMs, you can see that when you have to go your ECM number 1, ECM number 1 have save energy up to 11%. ECM number 2 save the energy up to 21%. 21%. ECM 3 save energy up to 4%, and majority ECM 4 save energy up to 64%. So it is a simple, you can say that you can adopt it, the simple measure, you can just quick start and you can save the energy. So if we take a pledge, everybody, that we have to save the energy so that our future generation can get the energy. So these are basically the ECM techniques where you can save the energy. But again, I am repeating many times now. Again, lastly, I am repeating that only thing is that you required initial investment. But if the initial investment is a barrier, then you should go for the second adaptation. And in the second adaptation, you not have to replace your non-energy efficient devices with energy efficient devices. Only thing is that thing you have to adopt simple measures. You have to adopt simple tips to save the energy in domestic sector. I can cover some of the points, but it is not possible for me to each and every point to be covered there, that how you can save the energy by adopting the simple measures. So I will give you only the few things to be there, how you can save the energy. So in the domestic sector, you all see we are all using the lightning system. So only best practice is that to save the energy, that turn off the light when not required. So this is a simple thing. Whenever you required electrical energy, whenever you required lightning, you can turn on, otherwise you can turn off. So by simple, you can turn off the switch, turn off the switch of the light when you not required, you can save energy. In the same case, you can see that many automatic devices can help in saving the energy used in lighting. One of the most important thing to be there here, the point number 4, that the dirty tube lights and the bulbs reflect less light and can absorb 50% of the light. Dust your tube lights and ramp regularly. So here, if you go for this point, you doesn't need require any capital, you doesn't need required any replacement of your existing sources with energy efficient sources. Only thing is that thing, maintenance is required. You can clean your tube lights, you can clean your lamps, you can clean your lamp shades, so that the illumination is get adequate to the working place. So by adopting these simple measures, we can think we can save the energy to the greater extent. These are the certain tips that we can all use in case of room air conditioners, where we can save the energy to a greater extent. So one thing that I will tell you all people, that I know you all people can know that thing, but it is a simple thing. Whenever we can use a room air conditioner, there should be proper sealing of the window pans as well as the door pans. Otherwise, what will happen? The air to be leaked through that window pans and the door. So in that case, what will happen? Your compressor of the air room air conditioner get more work it out, and it will, when it get more work it out, it can consume more of the more energy. So simply you can seal all the window pans as well as the door pans, so that there is no leakage to be there. And once there is no leakage to be there, you can save the energy. The reason being, at that time your compressor have to work efficiently. So when the compressor have to work efficiently, it can consume less power as compared to when the leakage to be there. So by adopting these simple techniques, you can see that you can save the energy to a greater extent. And here is also seen that in all the air conditioner, there are, you can see that air filters stop to be there. So what will happen when the dust particles and all the dust things to be decomposed on these air filters, then the flow of the air get reduced, and in that case your fan has to be operate more and more, and also your compressor has to be work more and more. So in order to get more efficiency of your fan or a blower or a you can say that the compressor, regularly clean the filters. The filters should not be choked it out. So when you cleaned your filters, the flow of air is, will be very fine, and you can save the energy to greater extent, because in that case the compressor has not to be work alone. So by adopting these simple measures, you can also conserve the energy. Also, there are certain important tips to be there for the case of the refrigeration. And here you can see that when you open the door of the refrigerator very frequently, then the cooling of the refrigerator will get dozed down, and in that case the compressor has to be worked it out. So make it a habit, when we are required, you can open the door. In our household appliances, we can see that whenever we can see that frequently opening of the door will affect the efficiency of the refrigerator, and anyhow it will effectively the compressor's efficiency, and moreover it will be directly linked to the energy. So if you frequently open the door of the refrigerator, you can see the compressor has to be work very hard, and in that case it consumes more energy as compared to the normal opening. So here there are certain important things that you should must all follow to save the energy. Here it will be seen that allow hot and warm foods to cool, cover them before putting them into the refrigerator. Refrigerator will use less energy and condensation will be reduced. What will be happen? We have a practice that the hot as well as the warm food get put inside the refrigerator. So in order to take the temperature beyond that thing, the compressor has to be work very efficiently. So it will consume more power. So only thing is that thing, before put any material to the refrigerator, first of all cool down at a room temperature. When the food stuff or a material will get at a room temperature, after that you can put that food stuff or a material into the refrigerator, so that the compressor does not have to work hard and it will consume not very much amount of energy. So again, there are certain points to be there. By adopting these points, you can save the energy to a very greater extent. In the same case, we have a microwave ovens and electric kettles. Now here, I will tell you one important point to be there. I must know that all of you follow this point, but as an energy manager, it's our duty that I will be get aware you people with this one most important point. No, what will be happen nowadays? All we can see that in today's generation, all are working. In the morning, the husband and the wife are working. Their children are to be going to the school. So what will happen? The lady wake up in the morning and make the foodstuff material, and after that it will make this foodstuff material and put on the refrigerator and go to their workplace. In the evening, when the husband and the wife will come back to the home after performing his duties in the office, and moreover the children are also coming back to the home after performing his school duties, what will happen? We can take that food material stuff into directly put into the microwave oven. So what will be happen? The temperature, the food stuff which is present inside the refrigerator having a temperature of about 5 degree to 7 degree, and we require to eat that food stuff up to the temperature of 50 to 60 degrees centigrade. So what will happen? When we put that food stuff directly from the refrigerator to the microwave oven, the microwave oven has to perform more. So in that case, it can take a lot of electrical energy. So again, there is a wastage of energy. So how you can get rid of it, that thing? First of all, when you put that foodstuff into the microwave oven, let them to be cooled down or let them to be open it on a room temperature, so that the foodstuff which is present in the refrigerator having a temperature of 5 degree to 7 degree, and before putting to the microwave oven, it will be attain certain temperature about say 20 degree or 25 degree, and after that you can put that foodstuff into the microwave oven, so it will take less amount of electrical energy to get vomit out. So this is the simple step. Here you have to not replace any non-energy efficient microwave oven with energy efficient microwave oven. Only thing is that thing, just a simple idea, just a simple thing, that before putting any material directly from the refrigerator to the microwave oven, put some time to be there in the room temperature, so that it can attain a certain temperature, and after that you can put inside into the oven and it can be harmed. So by adopting this thing, you can you can consume less energy and you can save energy. In the same case, electric heaters, all we are using nowadays, we are using the electrical kettles. We know that most of the time we are using thermostat based electrical kettles, where what will be happen, when the temperature of the water is reaches up to 100 degrees centigrade, when the water will be boiled, automatically it will cut it down. So when it will be cut it down, you can save the energy. But if you use the electric kettles without thermostat, so what will happen? The kettles will consume more and more energy, and here it will, what will happen? It will consume more energy, and this is the basic the wastage of energy. So here you can replace this amount of energy. One also important tip I must be share with all you people, that in order to get heat the water, instead of refrigerator cold water, you can use normal water to boil it out. Because if you use refrigerate water, the temperature of the refrigerated water is about 1 to 2 degree, and it will take a lot of time to get it 100 degrees centigrade temperature. So it will consume more and more energy. So what will happen? You can consume more energy. So how to get it right out of it? Before putting the water, refrigerate water into the kettle, put some time for a outside, so that it can attain a temperature about say 10 degree or a 20 degree or 15 degree. So after that, you can put that water into the kettle. It will take less amount of energy to boil it out. So these are the simple measures by using of which you can save the energy to a greater extent. So I try to attempt that by adopting these simple measures, you can save the energy. In the same case, there are certain tips that are required for the computers. I have published various articles in the local newspapers, and this is one of my articles that are published in newspaper on 9th November 2020, where the save energy, save world for future generation. That is a today's demand. This is the one more, you can say that article published, that world is changing from conventional sources of energy to the non-conventional sources of energy. The reason being, as energy managers, it's our duty that we should get aware the people, so that we can save the energy to a greater extent, so that our future generation can get energy. So at the last, I will conclude my today's talk that energy conservation is the practice of decreasing the quantity of energy used while achieving a similar output at the end of the usage. On a larger scale, energy conservation is an element of energy policy. So this is the tagline of all the energy managers we have, that save energy, save world for our future generation. So with this, when I start my presentation, I will give my quote to our Missile Men of India. And when I conclude my presentation, I will also give you one quote, that life is like an ice cream, enjoy it before it melts. I think I know that this is not related to some energy conservation. It is generally the life, that life is like an ice cream, enjoy it before it melts. I enjoy my life with my family, my wife and my small kid. So I request all the participants, all the to be present, to be there. You can also enjoy your life, because life has a very short span of time. So enjoy your life of every moment before it melts. So thank you so much for this webinar. So it's the time for your question answer round, and if anybody having any question, he or she can ask me at any time. I hope you all get your webinar to be clear to be there. So it is the time when you have your question answer round, and if you want to any question from your side, most welcome.
Thank you so much, sir. It was really informative and incredible session. I request everyone, if they are having any question, please type in the chat box.
Yeah, it's a if anybody having any doubt, he can ask me any question. I am ready to be there, to be present there for any type of questions, because this is not here I can conclude my talk, because I know due to the time constraint to be there, many and many things are to be have to be covered. And if in future the SAM's organization will give me another opportunity to deliver the talk on another topics, I will also deliver this talk. But I hope you can understand, you can give just a small idea that how we can save the energy. But again, I will tell you all the people that it is not an end, it is just a journey. Its journey will start. We have to save the energy, because if we save the energy, we can get forwarded as a gift to our future generation. Otherwise, our future generation don't have this type of electrical energy. Only you can say that it's a nightmare that we have electrical energy. So we have to thinking over it out. We have to think that we have to divert from the conventional sources out to the non-conventional sources of energy.
Thank you so much, sir. It was really a very amazing webinar. I would like to propose heartily vote of thanks to you, sir, for gracing today's webinar. Your presence and wise word help magnifying our course in best positive ways. I hope all participants learn a lot with this webinar. I would really like to thank you, sir, for giving us your valuable time, and I am delighted to be the part of today's webinar.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Before leaving this platform, I would wholeheartedly thanks to the entire teams of SEMS India Foundation that give me the opportunity to deliver some ideas about energy conservation. Especially thanks to the management committee, the organizing committee, and also special thanks to Nazish Khan ma'am, who beautifully hosts this program. Thank you so much.
A good event never ends. In the world, they take only a pause and keep us awaiting for the next. All good things eventually ends. I consider everyone as fortunate that they became part of this webinar, which was full of knowledge, which makes difficult to say goodbye. And I request everyone to please fill the feedback form which is provided in the chat box. And you can fill the feedback form within 6 hours, through which you are able to get your e-certificates within 5 working days. Now, I request everyone to please switch on your camera so that we can take screenshots. Thank you so much for cooperating. Again, thank you for all the attending today's webinar. And if you have additional questions, you can contact us by email or telephone number. We are happy to provide additional support to you. The end of one chapter is the beginning of next. Keep on reading. The best is yet to come. I, Nazish Khan, your host of the day, signing off on a cheerful note. Have a wonderful day. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much to all the participants who listened my webinar very patiently. Thank you so much. Thank you so much once again. Thank you.